I was 28.
Okay, that is a quite young age.
Yeah. So I was just, I was very young and relatively inexperienced.
Yeah.
When you're starting something out, you're doing everything, including, setting up the office and
Yes.
setting up, the website and handling even the small pantry. It's a long journey for my father. I think he's been in the industry for 54 years. And I think for the first 7 years of his life, I don't think he's taken a holiday. He lost his thumb in the right hand while operating.
And since you are a second generation entrepreneur,
Yeah.
so what are the plus and minus about the second generation entrepreneur?
My father himself has gone on a scooter around and trying to sell the product.
At that time.
At that time. Sometimes in the nights, father would get a call, because there was an explosion in the factory or something, and he's disturbed. So we would wake up and listen to him. And I remember being in the 10th grade, standard 10, and him saying, Komal, I'm going to set up a new facility now. This is for formulations. Water dispersible granule formulation, and not many people are doing this in the country. Nobody's doing it in the country, he told me. So I said, wow, Dad, this sounds very interesting. I think we've gone a long way. Today, I think we have the largest capacity in the world. We have 100,000 metric ton capacity in the world for WDGs. A lot of the WDG products that we sell today are organic certified, being sold in 80 countries. I was the only woman engineer on plant in the US, so obviously only Asian woman in the facility. This was in the US. So,
and also, ma'am, you are the first woman guest in my podcast.
Am I? Oh, wow.
So you felt any time the burden being compared?
Oh, it happens all the time. You're kind of used to it. I don't think it's little difficult. I think it's extremely difficult because until you have your family, you are doing things equally. One of our customers in Europe that tell me a product, tell me a solution where the grape farmer is spending 3,400 rupees and he gets an additional income of 1.5 lakhs per acre. Globally, 93% is generic and only 7% is exclusive or innovative or completely new innovation. I think, Supal, you've touched upon a very important and a critical subject, and malnutrition is not malnutrition just for the poor or the underprivileged, and it's not about developing countries anymore. Europe, it's estimated they're going to spend $320 billion on groundwater nitrate contamination. Nutritional deficiency is like a silent emergency in the country.
Yes.
In an orchard in Brazil, where it was hit by excessive rain, but the farmer still had an additional income of $40,000 because he used us.
Hello, welcome to Supal Sharma Show. Today podcast is sponsored by Kshitij Nutrisize India Private Limited. They are into crop nutrition. They are present in more than 10 states in India. They are into B2B as well as B2C. They are importing their crop nutrition product from more than 20 countries all across the globe. As a company, they always believe in to get the best product and technology available for the Indian farmer. You can visit kshitijnutriscience.in for more details. Now let's talk about the today episode. Today episode is a very special episode for us because we have a second generation entrepreneur with us. She has more than 20 years of experience in agriculture all across the globe. And special thing about her, apart from being the second generation entrepreneur, she has also worked as an employee in various companies, and also she has launched her own company. We will be talking with her about sustainable agriculture, about patents, and of course about SML. And now let me welcome Mrs. Komal Shah, Director, SML Group. Hello, ma'am. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Supal. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here.
And thank you, ma'am, coming and gracing the occasion.
Not at all.
First of all, tell us about your initial life, about your schooling life, how it all started.
So, initial life was very simple and nice, like it should be. I was lucky. I grew up in Mumbai.
Okay.
Went to school in Mumbai.
Okay.
School days were nice. School days were wonderful. And yes, I went to college. 11th, 12th also was in Mumbai. My undergraduate studying was in the US.
Okay.
And even postgrad was in the US. So I was there for about 6 years, and I worked there, and then came back, and
Going to the US, it was your decision. You wanted to go abroad and study.
Yes, it was my decision. I was pursuing chemical engineering
Okay.
as a degree, and I wanted to go there myself and have the opportunity to work and learn. And yes, that's what I did.
Okay. And after that, ma'am?
So post my graduate schooling, which was in biochemistry and molecular biology, I took up a job
Okay.
in Mumbai in a law firm.
Okay.
Of course, in the US, I worked as an engineer with DuPont, and then I was doing research in the US. But after coming back to India, I took up a position in a law firm in
So
Bombay.
at this point, ma'am, why did you come back? Like you didn't look forward to pursue your this job or something, your career in the US?
Yeah, I think I would, if at all, even if I would have stayed, I would have stayed maybe a year or two to work. I always wanted to come back because the family was here.
Okay.
I always wanted to come back to India.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah.
So after this, what has happened?
Yeah, so post, I got my job. I also I did my business degree in Spain, and I started my own firm
Okay.
thereafter. This is an intellectual property consulting boutique firm. And I had a lot of clients from Europe and the US to start with.
So
Not
this
so
was
many
registered in the Mumbai only?
Yeah, this was started in Mumbai,
And what was the age when you registered this company?
I was 28.
Okay, that is a quite young age.
Yeah. So I was just I was very young and relatively inexperienced.
Yeah.
But it was, I when I was in the US, I had registered while I was studying. I took up the patent bar on my own. I took the patent bar in India as well. So I was quite, India was going through this change at that time because laws were getting harmonized internationally, globally, and India was going into a new patent regime. So
Okay.
this was all very intriguing at that time. And my father had, guided me at that stage that, Komal, you should look at this as an area. So I said, sure, I'll look at it. I never thought I would, take it up so seriously, but yes, I did. So I took up, of
I'm
course.
pausing here.
Yeah.
Like going into this entrepreneurship, was this your father wanted because he himself is a successful entrepreneur? So how it happened, ma'am?
Yeah.
Like was sometimes what happens like doctor ka beta doctor banta hai,
Yeah.
something like that happened. So how did that happen?
Yeah, so I think when I had come back and I was of course I was doing the job, and then while doing the job I realized I could have done a lot more, in servicing other industries. The work that I did initially in the firm that I was employed in was largely in the IT, electronic space and networking space. So I thought there was a lot to be done in the life science space, the agri space, the healthcare space, and while I had opportunities to work in industry as a corporate professional, I said I wanted to build something. So I started the firm with that objective.
What was the firm name?
The firm was Innovar IP.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a small boutique firm, and it was very challenging because you had to bring in people, train people. There were opportunities you also had to go and develop business, gain the trust of clients.
Yes.
All of it, all put together. So, when you're starting something out, you're doing everything, including, setting up the office and
Yes.
setting up, the website and handling even the small pantry that has to be handled, everything.
Yes,
So
yes,
you
yes.
really have to take care of everything. So it was very interesting, and I was lucky. I had initial success right away with a lot of multinational companies at
Okay.
that stage, in Europe, in the US. So I spent a lot of time for business development there, and that gave a lot of very early learning into processes.
It's a complete 360-degree learning.
Yes,
all.
It's a different kind of learning, and you're trying to train the people, get them to deliver, and you're learning the processes of other organizations as to how they work and handle. And IP is a very sensitive subject. because it's usually in-house. There's a lot of confidential information. So keeping that trust is something which is very, very important. So yes, I was grateful to have that very early experience there and handling these clients out of Europe and the US. And and very soon after that, I had my children.
Yes. And before that, when you were doing all these things, what was the major challenge you faced at that time and how did you overcome?
You know, if I have to go back and see, the major challenge was winning the trust of Indian companies because I think they would probably have been more skeptical to, outsourcing this kind of work. I also think there wasn't that kind of innovation in India.
Yes, at that time.
At that time, this is 20 years ago I'm talking about, 20 years ago. And, it was challenging because, and to get, paid for high value services, not something that was easy.
Yeah, in India it's easy to get the services, paid for the products,
or
paid for the services. It's very difficult.
And that to intellectual services, where someone has to trust your capabilities and ask you to, create a roadmap for them in terms of, where to innovate, how to create value through patents and things like that was not very easy.
So after that?
Yeah, so parallelly, for me at that stage, SML was a client. It was not, it was a family business, yes. My father and my brothers and the other promoter directors in the company. But I was assisting them for the intellectual property that was being developed in SML at that time. And it was, being done at my end. All of this was being done. And then I got more and more involved in the agri business while I was doing that. And what I saw is a lot of opportunities for creation of intangible assets or patents. Yes. So the journey started from there, and as I got more and more involved, the responsibilities of R&D came on. So it wasn't a chartered path that I said I would have joined the agri-sector per se directly, or the business for that matter. But that's how I got involved.
So in this case, like you have a hands-on in intellectual property, right? Then you have your company in agriculture. So you mingled both of them with the practical knowledge.
Absolutely.
And where the practicality, the IP would be there.
Sure.
So as we understand, there are more than 500 IPs with the SML as written in the website.
That's right.
So we'll talk about that later. So after this, you joined this as a director and the journey continued.
Yeah, so I was made whole-time director after they felt that, we could be doing a lot more with my time than just simply filing patents. So I became whole-time director in about 2013. And that's when I slowed down all the other work from the other companies.
So, ma'am, as we understand before that, you were into different fields. So, you have been into the fields also to understand practicality.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
What is happening in the field?
No. I tell you one thing. There is no real learning unless you're on the field. I say this to our teams also, and I speak from the knowledge that I have seen and witnessed myself when I've gone around traveling parts of India. And the beauty of the agri industry is there's never enough to learn. There's just never enough that you can say you've learned, right? The extent of geography that you have to cover on a regular basis. I've traveled width and span of India and still not traveled to all the territories that I would like to. But the learnings that you have from the farmers, their problems, the results, products produced on farms, what happens to crops in different conditions and different soils. It's a vast world out there.
It's a vast world, and it's ever changing world.
And it's always changing. Absolutely, ever evolving.
So this we discussed about your life. Now we are also interested about how your father struggled and how it all happened. Today SML people know everywhere. You go to PMFA, you go to any conference, the SML is right there. So how iski shuruaat kaise hui? How it all actually started, ma'am?
So it's a long journey for my father. I think he's been in the industry for 54 years. Non-stop. I think he came back as an engineer from the US.
He did his engineering at that time from US.
He was also in the US, yes. And I think he came back because his father was unwell. And of course, they had another business at that time. There was another family business running in the automotive industry. But he chose not to join that. He said, I will do something on my own, something else. This company was incorporated, but it carried an old German plant and was shut down basically. And there were issues in running the plant. There were fires and there were losses running in the company.
Okay.
So from there, I think he picked it up. And I think for the first 7 years of his life, I don't think he's taken a holiday.
Okay.
He didn't even take a Sunday off. So this is what my mother tells me, that, chutti bhi nahi lete the.
Okay. Understood.
So it was very, very challenging for him, I think, and, building it from scratch in that sense, because it was all, the fire had gone out. So he had to go and revive everything and restart it in that sense. And initially, the business was all about sulphur, because that was where the mills were all related to pulverizing sulphur.
Okay.
And initially they were only selling to the rubber industry.
And this was happening near about in Mumbai only, where?
Yes, in Mumbai. So the plants were in near Navi Mumbai.
Okay.
And in those days it used to take 3 hours to travel one way.
Okay.
The infrastructure was not there, So in fact, in his early days of his career, while operating the plant, he lost his thumb in the right hand. While operating. So these were, there were a lot of sacrifices, a lot of, misgivings, a lot of challenges he faced, trying to come up to where he is today.
And since you are a second generation entrepreneur, so what are the plus and minus about the second generation entrepreneur?
I don't think it's easy for any generation entrepreneur. First generation has to take all the the risks, the challenges of building something and trying to get people on board, not so easy. Trying to go and create value there, establish for my father. And of course I also give a lot of credit to our director, Mr. Suketu Doshi, who has been with us for 46 years. These two gentlemen together, they ended up building the sales network throughout India. And, my father himself has gone on a scooter around and, trying to sell the product. Right? At that time, right. So, very humble beginnings, I should say. And a lot of faith by a lot of people back in the day who've continued to work with him. But I think the challenge for them was, establishing the name and establishing the products. And yes, there was a value being offered by the company. The products were always good. So, taking it to market, a lot of different kinds of challenges they face that I also don't know about. I know sometimes in the nights, father would get a call, because there was an explosion in the factory or something, and, he's disturbed. So we would wake up and listen to him and see how he was trying to handle it. So these are the things, the faint memories we have, And I remember being in the 10th grade, standard 10, and him saying, Komal, I'm going to set up a new facility now. This is for formulations, some water dispersible granule formulation, and not many people are doing this in the country. Nobody's doing it in the country, he told me. So I said, wow, Dad, this sounds very interesting, I was just 15 years old.
At that time.
So that was the beginning of a lot of things, So he ended up setting up the first WDG facility in Asia. I think number 4 in the world in that sense, because it was not common in those days to set up formulation facilities. Active ingredients were being done, but not formulation. So,
and in just one line, you can tell about this. Then we'll come back to the story so that people can relate. When your father talked to her 10th class kid, and she told that I'm going to set this WDG. What is the status of the WDG now, to tell our audience?
Right. So I think we've gone a long way. Today, I think we have the largest capacity in the world. We have 100,000 metric ton capacity in the world for WDGs. These products are, a lot of the WDG products that we sell today are organic certified, being sold in 80 countries, organic certified in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, the United States. Some brands are present in 65 countries. A lot of this work was done by the other 2 directors in the company, Mr. Binoy Shah, Mr. Komal Shah, the current managing director. So, yes, a lot of efforts by a lot of people in trying to make the brands go global.
Global.
Yeah.
And then one more thing we want to understand, like as a father,
Yeah.
like what he used to teach his kids.
Yeah.
Now, how was your bringing, ma'am?
Right. So I
What
think
was the conversation at
yeah.
that point
So
of moment?
I remember, one of the conversations, me when I was taking up chemical engineering. So first thing he told me, Komal, make sure you don't waste the seat and you really take it up because you want to do it. So I
Okay.
said, yes, I'm very clear I'm going to do this, And I remember working as an engineer in the plant, him coming and visiting me and meeting my boss at that time. My boss was an American from Chicago. And, he had given me a job on the facility to do, there was a physical loss happening of product. And so my father came down to see whether I was, how I was doing, how I was handling things. I was the only woman engineer on plant in the US, obviously only Asian woman in the facility. This was in the US. So,
And also, ma'am, you are the first woman guest in my podcast.
am I? Oh,
Thank
wow.
you.
Yeah, well, that's great to know. So he, so of course he was very clear that, Komal, whatever you do, you must commit to it. Yeah, that's one. Second thing, he would always say, and as far as business goes, or as far as, when I set up my firm also, make sure you deliver value to your clients.
Okay.
Right? Or to your customers. And he's stuck by that through his entire life for all the products that we've sold to our customers. So that's, I think, one of the biggest things that we carry, the company carries as a legacy, is the trust of the customer, the trust of the farmer. That is what matters most. You're creating value, the business will follow.
Yes, ma'am, of course. And that's how the company has developed.
Yeah.
One more question I want to ask is that, like, being a second generation entrepreneur, and like when you are going again to SML.
Yeah.
So there is always a comparison, ma'am.
Yes, of course.
Like people from outside, they always compare, and we have seen it in many organizations where the young kid of the person who has done his job, right?
Yes.
And he's always judged.
Yes.
So how did you carry it, and what is your message to the next generation entrepreneurs who would be carrying his father business forward?
Right. So
now at this point you have proved right, but like when you would have joined, it has all been a comparison.
It always continues to be a comparison. It's that's the challenge with generations,
Yes.
right? The gaps in generations. I think we will do it for our children probably, but for him the challenges were different. For us the challenges are different.
Yes.
What took him or what took the company from that stage to where we are today is probably not going to take us from where we are here today to the next stages, which is what we are trying to convince him.
So you felt any time the burden being compared?
Oh, it happens all the time. You're kind of used to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more thing, ma'am, since you are a women entrepreneur, so many women looks forward to join their husbands, their fathers and something.
Right.
So what is your message to them, how to make a balance in your family life, personal life and the professional life?
Yeah,
because it's we must say, but it's little difficult for the women, especially when you have kids, you have to take care of them.
Sure. So I don't think it's little difficult. I think it's extremely difficult because until you have your family, you are doing things equally, just like any other man or woman. And I think when the children walk in, the dynamics change completely. And it's very difficult to remain intellectually motivated and, or even intellectually satisfied while you're trying to raise your family, right? And at the same time, you don't want to give up on that time with the family because the children need you and you also need them. I mean, you want to be with them, right? So I think it was not an easy phase for me. I was lucky I had the support of my family, both families. And I was grateful to my parents for all the support they extended to me during that time. So I was able to manage. I took my children to office. I took my children with me to work.
You literally took them to office?
They had a room.
How old are they now?
My older daughter is 16. My younger one is 12. I still have guilt, leaving them and going. And they tell me, Mom, you don't need to worry about us. But, that kind of feeling kind of still remains. Yeah.
Yes. And one more thing we want to understand is like, it's very difficult, like many mid-section people and to transform the family business into professional business,
it's
which SML has done now. So how to do that if some young entrepreneur is watching that, ma'am? Because especially when you have brothers, you have your own family. So how to run, how to convert the family run business into professional business?
Yeah, so we are on that journey right now, and it's happening as we talk. I think it comes with a huge set of challenges, right? Because an entrepreneur-led, or a promoter-run, I should say, not entrepreneur-led, I should say, a promoter-run company is very different from a professionally run company. But the only way to grow and scale is to do that.
Yes.
And I don't think it's easy. It doesn't. There's no one size fits all. There will be mistakes. There will be learnings along the way, and you have to keep trying.
And before moving on to the agriculture session, when we talk about what do you feel, ma'am, 2 qualities or 2 habits which made you sit here, ma'am? If you look back through your life.
Wow, it's difficult. I think I don't know. I have never thought of it that way. I think one would be not giving up, and I think the other is the desire to build or to create. I think these are the 2 areas that I think, or the 2 qualities, if you may call them so. I think that kept me going, have brought me here to where I am today.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we'll quickly move on to the agriculture session.
Sure.
Before we move on to the agriculture session, ma'am, tell us what SML is doing at present, globally.
Globally, yeah. So SML, of course, in India is present pan-India now for the last 54 years. We have we have 2 companies in India. We have SML and SUMIL. Both of these are have their own brand entities on ground. So there's over 500 plus full-time people on ground.
Okay.
And of course, the 700 odd FAs or the temp staff team that works with us. So it's a full-fledged operation in India. We have internationally, we are present in 80 countries. We have ground operations in Brazil, in Europe, and Turkey and the CIS. So we were exporting, of course, for the last 30 years, but we've gone on to add more international team members in the business. And in terms of Indian operations, like I mentioned, of course, we were always focused on the formulations. So we have large capacities for different types of formulations globally. Specialized formulations, and what we also do is active ingredient manufacturing. We acquired a company in R3 a few years ago, where this is in Vapi. So it's a fully integrated active ingredient and formulation company. We have 3 R&D centers. We have 2 R&D centers in Navi Mumbai for formulations, agri-biotech, and new chemical entities. So this is something which is not typically done in India. Very few companies creating new chemistry, something that was typically done just by the multinationals. So this is all homegrown, developed here in India, and we are talking about creating great new solutions, safe solutions, green chemistry, new modes of action here. So this has been, in the last few years, we've taken these steps. We also have a discovery site at Umargaon, and this is where all the products get developed, screened for global targets, basically in agriculture, where any kind of pest or disease. So we have a total of over 65 people in total of R&D and product development working with us with all different disciplines. And that's how we've gone on to create a patent pool of more than 550 plus patents globally. So there's a lot of work done by the IP team, the product development team, the R&D teams, and then trying to take all of this to market.
And when was your first patent filed?
Well, if you ask me that, the year would be 2001. Then I still went back to university after that. I mean, my graduate schooling, and then after 2007 onwards is when we built the portfolio.
And then it started, and now it is more than 500. Okay, very nice. And we always hear about the WDG, which we have just spoken. You can elaborate about that also to our audience.
Sure. So,
what sets it apart, and like people get in awe of that product.
Right.
So many entrepreneurs would be watching the show, maybe in the different industry. So how that product started, developed, and came to this level.
Right. So I think a lot of this was done by my father and the team with him at that time. I think it was, formulations were unheard of back in the day. My father saw the opportunity there when he, looked at such products in international markets. And he felt that there would be a great opportunity to do that with sulfur to start with, and then the other products. So I think a lot of new process engineering was done by the technical team,
the in-house
team at that stage. So one thing he strongly believed in was developing internal resources for doing this. A rare thing to do in India. Especially when there was no real formal R&D, and you didn't really have funds for that kind of R&D back in the day.
Lot of money is required.
Yes, a lot of money is required. A lot of money and time, and you really don't know whether you're going to get business out of it, right? So, yes, it was not so easy, but I know the challenges the team went through, the number of trials they've done in order to get the composition right, the product right. Not so easy, And it's a product that carries a great risk of with fire and things like that, So these were the things they did. Then went on to even innovating even more complex and difficult formulation, which is the Fertis, which is one of our key brands in the country. We sell over 15,000 tons of this product.
Okay.
It's more than 140 crore brand in the country today. And it's the trust of farmers. It's the trust of good work done by a lot of team members, And yes. These formulations carry the advantage because, people talk of sustainability. I think SML has been doing sustainability for more than 20 years, I should say, because we've always worked with the concept of more from less. This is what I said, that my father always believed in, that you need to create value
from your more products. From less means?
Meaning the farmer applies less and he gets a lot more in the process. So does the customer, so does the dealer, so does the distributor, so on and so on. So everyone in the chain in that sense benefits. Yeah. And so does the environment.
Yes, of course.
So the concept was not just from a farmer's return point of view, right? What you ended up doing is impacting the environment positively, which is something very rare in the chemical industry,
So especially the way the climate changes are happening nowadays and everything.
Yeah.
So we'll always talking about the sustainable agriculture. It's being talked about in many conferences in many worlds. So what's your look on that?
Wow, it's the big topic item. I think sustainability is a big buzzword. I mean, people, of course, we feel there is a big need for it. There is a real need for it. I think the actions in that direction are taking a lot of time. It's a burning issue. The farmers are most impacted by climate change.
Yes.
Right. Uncertain rain or, drought or excessive rain, not being able, he has no control over the weather. And that impacts his crops, even his purchase pattern, his behavior towards investments. And today he has lesser faith, therefore, in a lot of things, and not sure whether he's going to recover, the crop or the yields the way he would like to. So it impacts everything. And we all know globally every year 10 to 20% losses occur due to climate change.
Yes.
It's reported.
And it's reported, and it would be may more.
Absolutely. But the biggest challenge with a lot of this sustainability, at least in agriculture, is even stopping or changing the old practices which negatively contribute to climate change. So that acknowledgement actually has to happen, and it's a systemic change.
It's a systematic. People have been following that pattern for a long time.
Too long.
So it's very difficult to change. But still, if we take progressive steps and progressive actions,
we're doing it. So there's a lot of if you work with in the food value chain and you work with other corporates working in the same direction because they recognize the need for that, So whether it's improving soil health, whether it's improving, doubling farmer income. We've been doubling farmer income for the longest time. We continue to do that. I don't believe there is a better business than the agribusiness in terms of a return on investment when you look at what goes as inputs. I mean, I was just sharing with one of our customers in Europe that tell me a product, where tell me a solution where the grape farmer is spending 3,400 rupees and he gets an additional income of 1.5 lakhs per acre.
Yes.
That's the kind of return we're talking about. Now tell me what business gives you that.
Yes.
Right.
And
so if they they smartly farm and select the inputs, it can be made lucrative.
And if we teach well, we teach well in the field, they'll make good money out of it. And many companies like you are doing that job. And we are grateful for that.
Right.
And people also talk about the malnutrition. What are your views about it?
Yeah, so, I think when people talk about malnutrition, what comes to mind is, Asia or Africa.
Why I'm asking you these questions because you have been always on the R&D side also.
Right.
So R&D people think in a little way different than the production people or the commercial people.
Sure, yes, I get that a lot.
Because first you guess the problem, then you analyze for the solution, then you do it on the lab, then it's commercially on this
absolutely.
level. So what's your take on the malnutrition?
Yeah, so I think, Supal, you've touched upon a very important and a critical subject. And malnutrition is not malnutrition just for the poor or the underprivileged, and it's not about developing countries anymore. People think of malnutrition,
like
think of Africa or Asia, where people don't have access to food or they don't have a basic standard of living, right? I think malnutrition has been affecting all of us. It is affecting all of us. And I know it sounds scary. The reason I say that is because climate change has been happening for the last 50 years and above. Carbon dioxide levels have gone up long time ago and they've doubled in the last 30 years.
Yes.
And what that does to agriculture is less nutrition.
Yes.
And people don't seem to understand this basic fact, right? It's such a big statement because what it's doing is it's not allowing crops to assimilate nutrients in the right amounts.
Yes.
And that is why experts globally around the world are concerned that we are only going to worsen malnutrition around the world with climate change going the way it is. So we are clearly not meeting our own needs.
Yes.
Right? We are wanting to produce more and more at the cost of our own health, if you ask me.
And there's a lesser nutrition.
Yes, there's lesser nutrition. We are more interested in taking that next holiday on a plane and sitting in a nicer villa or whatever it is that you're trying to do, nicer shoes, more electronics, more gadgets, more things. But if someone tells you, no, I need the food to be at this price, right? I mean, are you really considering the impact of all of that on the quality of the food that we're eating today? It's probably not there. It's not registering in a lot of minds around the world.
And even people who are not linked to the agriculture industry, this pesticide industry has gone to that level. Like people bring food also, और इसमें पूरा pesticide छिड़का होगा, जहाँ बहुत ये होगा. It has ground to the ground root level.
Sure.
So the nutrition industry is always welcome, but when it comes to the pesticide industry, there is always a lashback.
So like I say, we've been doing, like I said, a lot of our crop protection products are organic certified. They don't leave a residue.
Yes.
Yeah. This is where we talk about sustainability and safety of food, right? There are a huge number of possibilities. So a lot of this kind of innovation actually needs to be fast-tracked so that you can bring it to the farmer.
But when you say that it is organic pesticide, but what is your cost comparison when the farmer has to buy? Say, for example, he has an infect or a disease. Can you explain with an example whether it's a cost-wise almost the same? How it is?
You'll be surprised that some of the organic products we offer are sometimes cheaper than the synthetic pesticides. Absolutely. In fact, I will also say that, and of course, when you're introducing a new solution, it's going to be somewhere at par with the industry. I will not say it'll become cheaper because it takes you time to invest into innovation, to bring it to market, and then try to recover and deliver and scale it, right? Because farmer's not just going to accept it the first day you start selling it. I mean, he has to understand it, see the results. So a lot of work has to go on ground to promote or even explain such solutions.
And their effects are almost same, like you meant to say immediate effect you can see.
Yes, absolutely. So we are doing this day in, day out, where we are trying to match the performance of synthetic
with the organic. And if it's done well, it will be definitely a good contribution to the society.
Absolutely a good contribution. Yeah.
So now they are as you have been into the crop protection and both in biological, a young entrepreneur who has just started in these two fields, pesticide field and the biological field.
Right.
What is your advice to him for the next 5 years to grow, and how he can outgrow his competition, ma'am, with your experience in general?
In the agri input space.
I will not talk about your IP of your SML, but in general.
The world is too big. I think the world is too big for that.
If you can guide him like in this way.
If you have to guide somebody in the industry.
First, we'll talk about the crop protection. Entrepreneur in the crop protection.
Entrepreneur in the crop protection. So I say this, that, if you look at the crop protection industry, I think globally 93% is generic and only 7% is exclusive or innovative or completely new innovation in that sense. There's a lot of proximity innovation that's happening in crop protection, right? Mixtures and different things there. I think the goal is to enhance. So any entrepreneur in this area really needs to understand that he'll have to have a balance between the generic and the innovative product, if at all they want to bring that to market. It's very competitive. But yet there are more companies and there are more players in the market there, and especially in India. So I think it's stiff competition. I think there still continues to be opportunities. But there is a greater ask for biological products, bioproducts, but genuine biological products, right? Because I think that farmers have faced challenges with not real sort of pseudo bios, if you may want to call them. So, you have to be careful with that. I think the regulation is changing. I know when we talk to the ministries and the regulators, so they do want to advance biosolutions. I think it becomes challenging when someone is extremely small and comes forward with a new idea and then has to register that. It takes years. Yes. So it's not so easy. It takes a lot of time. One thing that I've learned is, while you can see there is an immediate need for this, the amount of time it takes to bring it to market, it's quite long. It's quite long.
And it's not everybody's cup of tea also.
Yeah, it's not.
To wait so long.
Yeah, sometimes, and you think it is going to come in that much time, but it doesn't always end up that way.
Then you have to grow it commercially also.
You have to. That's the pressure. That's the pressure.
Ma'am, today we have progressed very well in India. Crop protection, biological and fertilizers. You are going all abroad the world. How do you see India compared to the world, the policies and everything? What to be done next, and where we are behind and where we are ahead compared to the rest of the world?
Yeah. So I think, from agriculture point of view, India is making a lot of progress. We are being productive. Productivity is good. We are producing food. We are self-sufficient, which is great. I think in terms of environmental impact and, trying to target, sustainability, a framework has to evolve around that, which is still not there. These frameworks are there in global markets or, at least in the Europe, even in the US, New Zealand. Some of these countries, they've already started with along, I would say, a few years ago, not just recently. So, in Europe, there's the nitrates directive. In the US, they're restricting the amount of fertilizer being applied in certain months. So, they've already woken up to those challenges. Now, let us recognize that as India, fertilizer came from the West.
Yes.
This is, of course, we were pre-independence days, and we just had to take it on because we were told we were not food sufficient, you could not produce food for yourself. So I think we have to learn from what's happening in those environments globally and rapidly evolve our frameworks so that we can, sort of prevent those problems from happening here, right? Because the cost of cleanup is too high. Too high. I'm just saying, Europe, it's estimated they're going to spend $320 billion on groundwater nitrate contamination, but they started reducing fertilizer 15 years ago.
15 years.
So we have not even started doing that. I think in the US, I think California alone is spending $22 billion just on cleaning a part of California, the water. So, and because all of this has impact on people's lives, at the end of the day, somewhere there is a disconnect because the emergency is so high. I mean, the people, 90% of the rural population depends on this water as a source of drinking water. Children, women carrying children, right? I mean...
But on the other side, there's a debate that like many people in India are still struggling for the 2 days diet.
2 days?
Diet. Yes.
Yes, on one side it's surprising, right?
Yes.
We are food secure, we have enough food, and food is getting wasted. 30% of the food goes waste. I mean, it's such an irony.
Yes.
So a lot has to be done to correct these imbalances, right? It's incorrect because what the farmer goes through, what the planet goes through as a whole to deliver that food to you is not a small thing.
It's not a small thing.
I think we take it for granted.
So as we are talking so much already, the fertilizers and nutrition is already being applied, but still we are food deficit. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I would say, a lot of nutrients are being applied globally, and yet we are, the crops are deficient. So the question is, a lot of it is being lost in the environment. Yeah, it's not being assimilated by the crops and not to the level required. So I think in India itself, the quantum is not correct. The form in which it is applied is not correct. The time when it is applied is not correct. And it continues to increase the chemical imbalance in the environment. So that all of this is contributing to the nutritional deficiencies. The gap is too wide. It's, the nutritional deficiency is like a silent emergency in the country.
Yes.
You think about it, a lot of our food is protein deficient. SML as an entity has been, loudly advocating that there is a huge need to spread this across. And yet, the response from regulators or even the understanding, I mean, I feel there are gaps there. When food is deficient in protein, long term, your body ultimately is reported to suffer from dementia.
Yes.
Come to think of it, and many other
things are happening in the young
absolutely.
kids, and the people at the age of 30 and 40
Yes.
are having diseases which never used to be
which were
before.
not there. I mean, are not common. And think about it, you have access to all the food in the world today.
Yes.
Right? It's not a question of not being able to purchase. Right?
So now we'll quickly, this way we have talked about India, but you are diversifying globally also.
Right.
So how do you get the, what is your view on the global diversification, how you are getting recognized and how you are expanding globally?
So we've been exporting internationally for many years, but I think we've gone on ground taking forward some of these sustainable solutions. I think there's phenomenal results there. It's very satisfying to hear, in an orchard in Brazil, where, it was hit by excessive rain, but the farmer still had an additional income of $40,000 because he used our solutions. I mean, that's incredible.
That's really incredible.
And he didn't have a loss compared to the other the same practice in the area. So, it's really impactful in terms of what we're taking to the growers. In Europe, I mean, we're seeing, in crops like olives, there's an increase in the oil content. So we are already improving standards, which are global standards, but taking them to the next level.
And that is incredible.
That is real credible work, and congratulations to the teams that are doing all of this. So it's not easy because you're taking forward a completely new solution. B, it's an Indian entity that's going around the world and trying to change, farming practices. So there's a lot of things happening at the same time.
And thank you. It increases the face value of India too. When
yes,
an Indian
absolutely.
company do a work in the world level like this, they recognized. And there are many Indian companies who can look forward to SML, ki if they have done so, we can also do.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
it gives a encouragement to them also. Like you
Absolutely.
talked about Brazil now.
Yeah.
So people will think and how we can also enter there, how we can do it.
Yeah.
So it will increase the Indian entrepreneurship uh, access to the global level.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this
Thank
session.
you. Not at
Now
all.
we'll quickly move on to the rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Fine.
So, ma'am, it will be fun. Let's start with the rapid fire. First, who is your professional role model?
I have to say Mr. Ratan Tata.
Okay. Have you ever met him?
I regret I never had the opportunity to meet him. Yeah.
But have you ever been in the place like being in Mumbai where he was addressing or somewhere?
Yes. I think had those opportunities. I think the principles by which he's led his companies, a lot of the philosophies are really resounding philosophies as far as I'm concerned personally. And I think the credibility that he built and the Tatas have built is something which is what every Indian company should aspire for.
Yes. And how was his aura, ma'am?
Oh, fantastic! I mean, you can't. Few words can describe. Few words can describe that. Yeah.
And take us through your daily routine.
Oh, my daily routine. I start out early in the morning. I usually go to the gym and I do yoga alternate days of the week. I am an avid cyclist, but I think post-COVID, the traffic has picked up a little too much for my liking, but that's how Mumbai is. Of course, work starts, I think, try to see the children off to school before they leave for the day, and then get to office. I think that's when everything starts, and then you don't know when there is an end to that. Then, of course, there's a lot of travel that happens in parts of the country and other parts of the world. Somewhere you feel time's not enough, because you have to be connected to the customer, to your farmers, to see what's happening on ground and keep updated. Talk to your people. We are going through this huge change where we've brought in a lot of new leadership into the company. So we are trying to take things to the next level. Yeah.
Very nice.
You don't realize when the 20 hours or so just go by.
Gone. Yeah. Any particular decision of your career growth you want to go back and change?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Maybe I can't say I would have done things differently. Perhaps if I had, the opportunity to have started, I would have gotten involved earlier in the business, maybe.
Okay.
That could have been a little different. Yeah.
Who is your icon in agri industry?
I told you, Supal. I think my icon is Mr. Ratan Tata. Yeah.
How do you handle stress and anxiety?
Oh, it's a $1 million question. So, like I said, I do practice yoga. I do try to take breaks away. I do end up going for long walks. Listening to music. I'm a spiritual person, so I do like to chant.
Okay.
So these are the things that I can do on a daily basis.
3 important qualities you look in a person when you hire?
Their commitment to their work. I would say their attitude, if I may say so, and how diligent they've been.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your favorite productivity hack?
You mean getting more productive? What is
getting more productive?
Most productive? I think, you need to step away when there's a lot of things happening. Completely step away, put yourself out from whatever's going on for a day or two, and then come back to it.
Your advice for the time management?
I think time is precious. You need to be very, very focused on what you're trying to do and close it.
Okay.
This is the only thing.
If not into IP, what Komal Shah would have been doing?
Oh, I could have been doing a lot of other things. I think I would like to have my own farm one day. For sure, I would have done that differently. There were other careers that I wanted to pursue. I would say in the arts and and probably in the music industry. That was clearly one of the things that I really wanted to do.
Any management trainee joining today, what's your advice to climb up the corporate level?
Many things. I think, understand your customer, which is a farmer, or how he thinks and how he behaves, and then look at the environment and see the challenges thereon. try to connect with as many people, talk to them and hear from them, and be very focused on whatever you're trying to do. The growth will happen.
Okay. If someone feels trapped in a role or situation that does not align with their purpose, what is your guidance to move forward?
If they don't feel aligned with the purpose. Yeah, it's a very good question. I think finding purpose is not so easy. I think it doesn't happen. Many people look for it for a very long time. I think, you really have to look inside and ask, what is it that matters most to the individual, right? What is it that you're trying to drive? Are you most of the times, I think in the younger years, people are more concerned about their salaries, their positions, their titles. You have to really ask them, are you more interested in the impact that you're creating? What is it that gives you, that extra kick to get up in the morning and go to work? I think, earlier years or the first generation entrepreneur really does not have the luxury to think about that.
Yes.
Purpose. You're most of the times, a lot of people are just trying to put
something and create something.
And put a meal on across every day for many people in the world. So a lot of people don't think about it, but I think purpose is very important because it is what's going to keep you going in your day-to-day life. Yeah.
Come what may. Most exciting project you have ever done?
I think the initiation of the NCE project in SML. I think we're going to be the first company in the world to be delivering metabolite-free solutions. It's a green chemistry solution. It'll be surprising for the crop protection industry, I should say, globally.
Very nice. Are you goal-oriented or a process-oriented person?
I think I'm both. You have to be goal-oriented because without which you can't deliver. Without process, you can't scale and you can't manage the outcome always. So both are very, very important.
And you have been attending so many conferences as a speaker panelist. Right. Now, after this, again, a phone rings up. Ma'am, we want you there. What comes up to your mind now, ma'am, at this stage?
No, I would like to take the opportunity as much as I can. Sometimes just because of commitments, if I'm unable to do that, I try to be, fair to them because, they're trying to organize an event. For us, it's important that we get this message out. I think one of the key messages is, quality of food it impacts all of us. It's really important for the world to start thinking about that and acting in that direction and supporting such initiatives,
Very nice.
So that's the reason I go and talk about this.
3 books you want to recommend? The
Almanac of Naval Ravikant. That's one. The other is 10x is better than 2x. It's a great book. It talks about, entrepreneurship in a very different way where, most people are trying to just incrementally do the same thing over and over again and try to improve on something. But you need to be doing something different. To really, that's going to do 80% of the job if you do it differently and create a very different impact. So I love that book. The Ultimate Goal.
Okay.
The Ultimate Goal. And it's a book on how perception around the world has changed our reality. And it's very, very important to read that. Yeah.
So last, what message you want to give to young agri-graduate? You can look into the camera and tell.
Yeah. So I think, agriculture is a very, very rapidly evolving space for any agri-graduate today. I think people are talking about, opportunities in ag tech. But I think the fundamental industry in itself needs a lot of new creative thinking, a lot of new creative go-to-market, a lot of new things that really need to be done, addressed. So I think the opportunities are even more than ever before. Just stay focused. Staying focused is probably the most important thing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming and gracing the show. Hope you have enjoyed the podcast.
I really enjoyed the question, Supal. I think it was a journey, that I was kind of reliving. But thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for watching this podcast. Hope this podcast has been useful to you. Keep sharing and keep liking. Supal Sharma Show. Let's learn from industry. We'll come back to you with the next episode.